Cell death, competency number 1.4. It talks about apoptosis, also known as programmed cell death. The learning objectives will be to know about cell death and its type, defining of apoptosis, its type, importance and the applied aspects, and also to know the differences between apoptosis and necrosis, both being different type of cell deaths. Apoptosis basically come as a short note, so you can document your observations or your lecture in a given format, where we have the definition of apoptosis, its role during developmental stage, maintenance of cell number or immunosurveillance, and then the difference between the two pathways, the extrinsic and the intrinsic one, and the various cell changes in an apoptotic cell, and the regulators of apoptosis. So before we move on to the discussion of the cell death, I would like you to focus on these two images in the slide. The one of the image is a representation of a hand with a gangrenous portion. The gangrene is the blackened out area because of the lack of blood supply. Probably there is injury in this finger that has resulted in the gangrene or the death of the skin cell and the surrounding tissue. And you can also see the inflammatory zone, reddened area around the gangrenous. Okay, and the second one is a cell which has received an ionizing radiation that has destroyed the DNA, and this damage is irreversible in nature, so the cell is undergoing the process of cell death. So we have basically two type of cell death. One is known as necrosis, where the cell damage is irreversible and it is usually pathological. It is always pathological in condition and it is known by the name of necrosis. That is seen in this hand. The second type of cell death may be physiological, may be pathological. It is known by the name of apoptosis. If we try to understand why a cell will die, it will die in two situations. One, it is not receiving the positive signal for its growth, the growth factors or the interleukins, or it is receiving the negative signals, that are the signals that stimulate it to die, or the death signals as we would say. So we have two types of cell death, as we have said earlier. One is the necrosis, which is also known by the name of cell murder. Why? Because when a cell is irreversibly damaged by some chemical, toxins or mechanical damage, what will happen? The cell is no longer functional. It becomes dysfunctional and it cannot be repaired. So it needs to be removed by the body, and the process so followed is by necrosis. The second type of cell death is by apoptosis, which is also known by the name of cell suicide. So in apoptosis, whenever the cell poses a threat to the integrity of the organism. For example, when a cell is laden with a virus, or there are clones of the cells in the immune system that are self-reactive, the cell will be programmed to die. Or during the developmental process, certain regression of the ductal systems is required, so cell suicide will occur. So this cell suicide is known by the name of apoptosis, and the cell murder refers to the necrotic process. So talking about apoptosis, it is also known by the name of programmed cell death or cell suicide. So this apoptosis, meaning cell suicide, is derived from the Greek word which means falling off. And if you relate it, we can relate it to the falling off of the leaves from the tree. Okay, the apoptosis, the word apo means away and tosis means to fall. Another important fact about apoptosis, and you will be rather surprised to know that approximately 50 to 70 billion cells per day undergo the process of apoptosis. That means it is very important phase of a cell in its cycle. And if you think about the cells that are going apoptosis per day, you can think of the blood cells, the RBCs, the WBCs, then you can have the cells from the intestinal villi, and a number of examples you can have for apoptosis, signifying its importance. Then, important fact about apoptosis is The genes of the cell by itself are programming for the cell death. Therefore, it is also known by the name of programmed cell death. Okay. Now, knowing the importance of apoptosis, I would rather ask you this question: why does a cell plans for its own death? Why is it so important for a cell to die, and that too by its own gene? Apoptosis is important. During the developmental stage, various processes, physiological processes are governed by apoptosis. Then maintenance of a definite cell number in the body and removal of the irreversibly damaged cells which cannot be repaired. So let's understand each one of them one by one. So let's talk about apoptosis step by step. The first role of apoptosis was during cell development, and if we talk about the development process, it does not restrict itself to the embryonal stage, or it does not restrict itself to the adulthood. It is a process that it is occurring in continuity, starting from the embryonal stages and then progressing gradually to the adulthood. Okay, so we have apoptosis during the embryonal development and apoptosis during the development in the adulthood. So let's understand it. The role of apoptosis during the embryonal development, one of the example is during the limb development. So we can have a look at our hands and we can see that we have these 5 digits in our hand. But when we talk about these same hand during the embryonal stages, we had a web spaces in between the digits. So what has led to the removal of these web tissue between your fingers is the process of apoptosis, which has selectively caused the removal of web tissue. As you can see in this slide, the red area which signifies the web tissue between the digits have been removed and you get the new shape of your hand. So this is the role of apoptosis during the fetal life. The other example for apoptosis during the embryonal stages will be, first, as we have discussed already, is the development of fingers and toes in the fetus. Then it is in the brain. In the brain we have number of synapses, and these synapses are remodeled during the stages of embryonal development by the process of apoptosis. So the neurons which are more activated, more required by the body, undergoes a process of synaptic plasticity and selective selection, and those neurons which are not required, those synapses which are not important for the body, are selectively eliminated from the body, or they undergo a process which is known as synaptic pruning. Okay, then sexual development in the fetus with the regression of the ductal system. Immune system, we have clones which are formed during the formation of T cells and the B cells, and when these clones are formed, they can be self-reactive, that can lead to the formation of autoimmunity. So in order to prevent that thing happening, the apoptosis process is there which selectively damage those cells which are self-reactive clones of T or B lymphocytes. So here we have the role of apoptosis. These are some of the examples of apoptosis during the embryonal development. Apoptosis in adulthood can be depicted by these 2 examples. Menstruation, as you know, is a cyclic breakdown of endometrium under the hormonal influence. So there is shedding of endometrial layer and then it will regenerate and again form. Then second one is the shedding of enterocyte. This cyclic process occurs every 3 to 5 days. There is shedding and then there is regeneration of the enterocytes. So this is the developmental process during adulthood, where we see a cyclic pattern is being followed. When we talk about endometrium or when we talk about enterocyte, we have this cyclical pattern which is being followed under the influence of hormones or under chemical or mechanical stimuli. The second role of apoptosis is role to maintain the cell number. We have talked about it earlier that normally 50 to 70 billion of cells are undergoing apoptosis per day. So think of a situation when this apoptosis mechanism fails or when it is decreased. Or think of another situation when apoptosis is occurring excessively. The cells are dying, the greater number of cells are dying, so what will happen? The result will be atrophy. And if the apoptosis is decreased in number, there is increase in the cell number is unregulated, and it can lead to cancerous like condition. So apoptosis has a very essential role to maintain the number of the cell, or it creates a balance between a cell which are functional and cells which are dysfunctional, maintaining a cell number within a physiological limit. The third important role of apoptosis is to destroy different types of cells. So why will apoptosis destroy the cells? Is when a cell becomes unwanted by the body, it becomes non-functional or dysfunctional, it needs to be damaged. So when I give you an example of apoptosis of such cells, we can talk about the cells which are destroyed by viruses. The cells are no more functional, so they must be destroyed. Another cells, the cells, cancerous cells. They have a damage in their DNA. They are not functioning properly. The protein machinery is not working well. So it needs to be removed. Then we can talk about the cells which are present in the immune system. As we said, the clones of the immune cells which can be self-destructive to the body. They need to be removed. So we have different category of the cells which are to be removed from the body for the sake of proper functioning of the body, and we have these different type of categories. In this slide, this is for your own assessment. You can cross match the words with their meaning or with corresponding sentences. Okay. So let's start with the second part of the class, that is what we have done. If we give a recap to that, we have understood what is apoptosis, we have defined it, we have known the importance of apoptosis, the role it has to play in the different condition, that is different physiological condition, the role of apoptosis during development, maintenance of cell number, or destruction of the cells which are non-functionals. Okay, but now we'll study, or now we'll try to understand how this process of apoptosis is being initiated and executed. Okay. This slide is showing a cartoon image with a cell having a self-destructive point. On pressing of this point, it is saying that I am initiating a self-destruction. So this slide emphasizes the point that the destructive machinery or the destruction begins within the cell itself. The genes are responsible for the death of the cell, and therefore it is known by the name of programmed cell death. So let us understand how this mechanism of death is initiated. Okay, who do you think this caspase is? Caspase is an important character in our process of apoptosis. I say this, why? Because this caspase is basically, as you see, is a cysteine aspartate proteases. So what do you gather from it? That it is basically an protein, an enzyme, a kinase like activity is present in this caspase. And when kinase like activity is present in this, what do you think it will do? It is initiator, it is a executioner of caspases. So this character of apoptosis is just like a executioner. Okay, so this caspase is not active as such, it is present in the cell in procaspase form. Otherwise what will happen? If it would have been active, then all the time all the cells would have been destroyed. But this is not happening. It is only activated by certain stimuli, and then only it will perform its role of execution. Okay. Once it gets activated by autocatalytic process by various stimuli, it will lead to the cell death, and that cell death will be why? Because it will destroy the protein machinery there, it will cause an enzymatic damage, and then the cell will become non-functional, leading to the cell death. So now we know that okay, apoptosis Caspases is playing an important role. It is causing initiation and it is causing execution of apoptosis. But let us understand why a cell will be stimulated. A cell is functioning normally, then after some time when it is becoming non-functional, what are the signals that are causing the cell to be stimulated for its own death? So these signal, if I talk, can be of two types. One of the signal that arises from the cell itself, and another signal that is coming from the surrounding of the cell. So if I talk about the signal that is coming from the cell itself, it will be the stress that is created in a cell. So this stress will be stress in the form of DNA damage. It can be due to ionizing radiation, or stress due to the protein machinery, the enzymatic machinery. All this stress will lead to the activation of an intrinsic pathway, the damage to the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria, the ATP supply, all will be depleted and it will lead to the death of the cell. The second mechanism is from the outside of the cell. The surrounding cell, the surrounding fluid that is present around the cell is causing the cell death. How? It will release certain mediators. For example, in inflammation, it will release inflammatory mediators. It can release tumor necrosis factor. It can release certain cytokines. So cell is being signaled for its death by the factors which are coming from the other cell. So this will be the extrinsic pathway of the apoptosis. So this is what we discussed: the external stimuli coming to the cell in form of inflammatory mediators, the tumor necrosis factor, or the specific death signals that come to a cell for its extrinsic stimulation. Then the internal stimuli, when it is losing the contact with the surrounding cell, it becomes depleted in its essential requirement, or its inside machinery is broken down, the DNA is not functioning properly, the protein synthesis is not occurring. So this stimuli will comprise the internal stimuli for apoptosis. In this slide we can see two types of pathway, the intrinsic and the extrinsic one. The extrinsic one, we can see the caspases are the procaspases 8, then active caspase 8, whereas in the intrinsic pathway we have the caspase number 9, and this caspase 9 and caspase 8 then enter into a common pathway. Observe this slide for the extrinsic pathway. The T lymphocyte is carrying the ligands, that is Fas ligands. This then binds to the cell. The cell are having receptors for this, which are known as Fas receptors. The binding of these lead to the activation of FADD, which is also known as Fas associated death domain. Here you can see. This then leads to the activation of procaspases 8 into active caspases, and you can see the multiplication effect or the caspase cascade. You have seen this video. Now what is your observation? If I tell you that summarize the steps of apoptosis of the extrinsic pathway, then this slide may help you to summarize. First step was, you saw the presence of receptors on the cell, which are the Fas receptors. They were binding to a ligand, Fas ligand. The binding of receptor with the ligand led to the stimulation of FADD, that is Fas associated protein with the death domain. You can also see in this figure. The activation of this led to the activation of an inactive form of caspase. As I said, it is present in an inactive form, that is procaspase. Here we have procaspase 8, which is activated to active form caspase 8, and this caspase 8 by autocatalytic process and multiplication of the caspase effect lead to the activation of procaspase and active caspase 3, and this caspase 3 is a common pathway for execution from both extrinsic and intrinsic, and it will lead to the process of apoptosis. Now let's talk about the intrinsic pathway. The intrinsic pathway, we know there is cell stress, which is precipitated by DNA damage, ischemia, or the oxidative stress. The powerhouse of the cell is mitochondria, leading to the release or leakage of cytochrome C into the cytoplasm and activation of caspase 9. This then joins the common pathway of activation of caspase 3. So the important point here is that there is an pro-apoptotic proteins and the anti-apoptotic protein. That is, a balance is there which prevents normally the activation of apoptosis. So in the pro-apoptotic protein, we have, as you can see, BAX, BAK and BID, and anti-apoptotic, which prevents the apoptosis and the release of cytochrome C. They are, you can see in the pink, there is BCL2 and BCLXL. So it is a normally balanced, but whenever there is an oxidative stress or intrinsic damage to the cell, this pathway will be activated, leading to apoptosis. This slide shows an important phenomena of cell changes during apoptosis. You can see a normal cell. The cell outline is circular. The mitochondria are present. The chromatin, the DNA structure is present, and all are present in an organized manner. So what is happening with the process of apoptosis? The cell has started to shrink. The chromatin has started to condense, and then DNA damage progresses further, and then you can see the organization of the cell is disrupted. The organelles are being damaged, and the membrane is no longer a round and smooth one. You can see presence of blebs, cytoplasmic blebs in the membrane, and the organelles have disintegrated. Then in the fourth stage of this cell, you can see that nucleus and organelles have collapsed, and the membrane continues with the process of blebbing. This is one of the important differentiating point with respect to necrosis, that membrane has not ruptured. Okay. Similar, the small apoptotic bodies are being formed. Each such body has a presence of a membrane. There is no rupture of the membrane. The advantage of this is that no inside of the cell, that is enzymes or the proteins, have been leaked to the exterior. That means we have these apoptotic bodies which are present, and these will be taken up by the surrounding cells or the macrophages. So there is no release of any enzymatic product from the cell into the surrounding tissue. As a result, we do not have any inflammation in the apoptosis. Okay. So this is very, very important with respect to necrosis. The different changes in the cell, the apoptotic cell, can be matched with the features: DNA fragmentation, cytoplasmic condensation, chromatin condensation, formation of blebs in the cell membrane, formation of apoptotic body, then breakup of the cell and removal of the debris of the cell or the apoptotic body by the neighboring cell. So you can match up with the picture or the image. In this slide we see a famous Bollywood actor, and he has a very famous dialogue. I think all of you must be familiar with this famous dialogue. So how do we apply it to our class? How do we apply it to the apoptosis? So apoptosis, here we can say that apoptosis once started cannot be stopped. So it is very, very important that there has to be a presence of certain regulators of apoptosis, and it has to be kept as a highly regulated process so that we are able to maintain the cell number. As we had talked earlier, in the intrinsic pathway, we had the pro-apoptotic factors which were favoring the apoptosis, and we had anti-apoptotic factors. So beside these, we have other regulators of apoptosis, and the primary major aim of these factors is to keep it in a tightly regulated condition. Now that we know about apoptosis, its functional significance, its role, then we know how it is done, why it is done, and the different regulators of apoptosis. Have a look at this image. This image stresses on the point that if apoptosis is dysregulated, then we can have the different type of clinical manifestation. One of these is incomplete differentiation, as you can see here, leading to the persistence of the web tissue between the two toes. Okay, then we can have different conditions that pertains to the autoimmune diseases, the degenerative diseases, the cancers. Especially I would like to talk about B-cell leukemia and melanoma. These are when the anti-apoptotic factors, as we had discussed earlier, the BCL and apoptosis anti-apoptotic factors, when they are bypassed by these cells, so apoptosis is not occurring in these cells. So these cells have leukemias or cancers. So what is the future of apoptosis? Why did we learn this process beside the fact that we wanted to know about the physiological process? So what is the future of this apoptosis? We stated already that in cancer we have decreased number of apoptosis. So probably the researchers are trying to find a cure for cancer by studying or discovering the drugs which are inducing apoptosis. So once these drugs are developed, it can be used in cancerous state, and then it can be given as a chemotherapy, and the cancerous cell will undergo apoptosis, and this will help in the prognosis of the patient. Now comes the necrosis. Necrosis, we said, is another pathway beside apoptosis that is leading to cell death. What is the hallmark of necrosis? Is that necrosis is occurring when the cell has been irreversibly damaged. It is an unwanted cell, it is a dysfunctional cell. Then we have this process of necrosis, by which the cells inflicted by injury are removed. Second, it is not a physiological phenomena, it is a pathological condition. During the pathological conditions we have this necrosis, and third important thing, it is associated with an inflammatory process. And why this inflammatory process is there? Because during the process of necrosis there is rupture of the cell, leading to the leakage of enzymes into the cell surrounding, leading to necrosis. So necrosis, it is a cell murder of the unwanted cells, and it is a pathological condition characterized by inflammatory response. So you can think and tabulate the differences between the two, apoptosis and necrosis, regarding the cell size, the difference with respect to cell organelles, the cell membrane, the uptake of the cell by the surrounding neighboring cells, and you can also cite some examples. This slide shows the differences between the necrosis and apoptosis with respect to size, the uptake, the membrane, or the cell organelles. So you can have a look at this. The reference material for this topic of cell death has been taken from these books, the sources from the Google or the YouTube. So in case of any queries, you can WhatsApp me, and thank you for your patience.